Okay, everybody. Sorry if you missed me for a bit. Really excited to get this content out. So, this is what I'm going to label as a very cerebral, intentional, advanced guide on how to play the game. We just started a new season, so to me, this seems like the best time to kind of figure out or show you guys what I do in order to figure out how to be successful with this season. Um, I imagine there's going to be several videos, so this will probably be a series. Um, so, yeah, stay tuned and enjoy the content. So, first thing that I want to discuss is combat power. A lot of people assume that just because someone's combat power is higher than yours and that they're better than you. That's not the case. What people need to realize when it comes to combat power is power overall, I would say, grows up, or combat power is a measure of like true strength. And then at a certain point, and I don't know what number that would be, but at a certain point, combat power starts to measure how far you're growing out. And so, what I mean by that is basically the best way to play this game is to maximize the efforts on your F1. So, best dog, best recruit that you can get, best F1 survivors, all that stuff. You start with your F1, and then as you maximize everything on your F1, then you start to work on your other things. The game is a mix of, you can maximize things on your F1 to a certain point, but then you start to grow other things as well. So when I say grow up, that's mainly talking about how strong your F1 is. And then when I talk about growing out, that's talking about how strong everything else is. So let me show you guys kind of what I'm talking about here. So overall power, as you know, can be very misleading because not only does it take into account your F1 or how strong you are, but it takes account of a whole bunch of other things like true power that contributes to how well someone may do in battle, but not really. So we have people here like Donut, as you see, has over a billion power, and his combat power is pretty high too, almost at 700,000. My general rule of thumb for power on how dangerous someone may or may not be is just to take a ratio of their combat power and put it over their overall power. So I'll just guesstimate here and say 7 million or 7 out of 10, which is almost 2/3. So Donut's pretty strong. This means that he has a lot to fight with, and the difference between these two numbers is what I like to call fluff. So he probably has anywhere from 250 million to probably 200 to 250 million in troops. And on the top of my head, I forget what the breakdown is as far as power and troops go, but I'll probably discover that and let you guys know in a later video. For whatever reason, our server, or all the servers on this season, are kind of opting to not do a lot of PvP. So one great tactic when it comes to war is if you take out everyone's troops, then you don't have to worry about them in the future. But if you're not in a season where people are electing to do that, then you got to figure out a different strategy. But moving on, so we'll look at troublemakers. So if we remember, Donut's ratio is like 7 to 10. You can see troublemakers is like 6 to 10. So this means to me that troublemaker has more troops than Donut, but Donut probably has more to fight with than troublemaker is going to have. I'll look at like 2 more people to kind of show you guys how I read these things. Sleepy looks like they're in the same boat. So I'm rounding kind of up. So this 10 is the 1 billion, and we'll say 6.3. for Sleepy. And Donut was 7 out of 10. And then Troublemaker was like 6 out of 10. So according to this ratio, I would assume Sleepy is probably a little bit more dangerous than Troublemaker as far as like ability to attack. And of course, Donut kind of being the most dangerous of the three that I've just looked at. I'm going to look at one more and then kind of recap everything for you guys. So this is Co-Baby. So here you got like a 6.3 over a 9.7. Let me get a calculator for you and so this is equivalent to a 7 out of 10. If you actually like use a calculator and divide 6.3 by 9.7, you'll see that 6.3 is about 70% of 9.7. And that's the kind of things that you're looking at. How much percent of someone's combat power, or someone's overall power, is their combat power? So again, 70% of Co-Baby's power is things that are beneficial to attacking, and then the other 30 is divided in between troops and like developmental stuff. So if you wanted to like see how much developmental stuff plays into play for these people, you would just go to development survivors, and you can see anyone not in the top. Like Sleepy has a lot of when it comes to developmental stuff. She's pretty up there. So that would just gives you a rough estimate of like how much of their power is troops versus non-troops when it comes to the non-combat power stuff. And then you also could look at like this specifically and kind of determine what is what as far as like building, or no, buildings account for attack power. Well, yeah, this is all combat power related. I'll dive into that later. All right, so quick recap. Again, when I start the season, I look at my combat power. Oh, I guess you want to look at my ratio. So, of course, those other guys are kind of weak, but we'll say 4.8 out of 7. Which is equivalent to a 6.8 out of 10. So this just says I'm a way more fight or bite than bark, basically. Like I have a lot of strength and not a whole lot of troops. And by not a whole lot of troops, I mean, you guys can see how many troops I have. One sec. $66 plus 65, that's about 130, plus another 30. I got like 160,000 troops. So that 30% difference that you're seeing, like I said, I was like a 6.8 out of 10. That 30% difference is about 160,000 troops in my case. So I'm gonna guess that anybody else with like that difference in their combat power has around the same amount of troops that I have. So probably would be super dumb to let everyone in the world know that if we were having a season where we're losing troops. But also, I mean, I'm of the mindset troops are meant to die. So do what you want with that info. All right, so this video is going a little long. I'm going to pause it here and start a new one. See you guys in a little bit.